So do customers trust reviews?
So according to the latest research by Bright Local, consumer trust in reviews is declining. In fact, since 2018, it's down to 42%, a full 49% from 91% in 2018.
From the Aishin Broadcast Studio, it's the Executive Spotlight.
Welcome to the AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today our guest is Chris Snellgrove from Reputation Sensei. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you, and I wanted to dive right into some content. Tell me about the process of gaining customers' trust. What's the first step?
Well, we believe the first step in the process is really making sure that you deliver a memorable experience for the customer, creating a relationship, and that's focusing, having your teams focused on the customer experience that delights the customer and brings them back more and more. It's about turning customers into raving fans. And when you do that, you're going to create loyalty and build trust.
Well, I mean, that's probably a little easier said than done. I mean, like when you're talking to dealers, like how do you help them? How do you help them to create raving fans?
Well, first and foremost, through continuous feedback, right? You need to put a feedback loop in place that focuses on feedback on a day-by-day, transaction by transaction basis. And when you do that, you're going to get that feedback from the customer experience to make sure that your teams are delivering the experience that you want delivered.
So I guess through that feedback loop, you're able to shine the light on the things you're doing right, and then also correct the things that you're doing wrong.
Absolutely, it's about coaching your people to do to do better.
Great. Well, let's talk about for a dealership that wants to gain an edge. You mentioned that people aren't trusting reviews the same way that maybe they did just in the last few years. What can a dealer do to gain an edge in a world where dealers or customers don't trust reviews?
As consumer trust in reviews is declining, we need to look for the next way to really communicate trust in your marketing. For years, dealers have used online reviews to build trust and create validation and trust online to attract more shoppers to them. However, I spoke at NADA recently on this, and the dealers today need to pivot to the most trusted form of media, which is video testimonials.
Well, I mean, video testimonials, it's probably easier to get a review than a video testimonial. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but how do you get them? I mean, I think everybody wants them, right? But how do you get them?
Certainly, yeah. The challenge is they're trusted. Everybody wants them, but they are challenging to get unless you have the right strategy. We've created a strategy called DCMA, which is Delight, Capture, Market, Attract. And the first step in the process is making sure that you're delighting the customer with an exceptional customer experience. And when you do that right, it makes the second part easy, and that's capturing the moment with a testimonial. And then once you capture that, you want to market it out to attract more people to you. But to answer your question, to get testimonials, we employ a strategy that we call EMT, which is emotional mining technique. And that's where you don't come out and ask somebody outright for a testimonial, because if you put that pressure on a customer, if I just sold you a car, Brian, and I asked you, hey, Brian, I need you to open up with your name, the name of the store, what you purchased, and what you like best about the experience, and I stick a camera in your face, that's putting a lot of pressure on you, and not a lot of people are going to perform well in that situation. So we recommend first interviewing them about the experience that you just delivered, ensuring that they were happy, asking how many stores that they possibly visited, what attracted them to you, why they came to you, and only then, once you've got that validation that you created a compelling reason for them to visit you, then ask them to share their story. And we feel that people are more willing to share their story than to give you a testimonial. You see the difference?
When you're asking them the questions about what attracted you to us, did you have a great experience, is that on camera, or do you kind of walk them through it first and then you suggest?
No, before we even talk about a testimonial, before we talk about a video camera, we want to have a conversation with the customer and just ask those questions. How long they were in the market for a vehicle? How many stores did they consider? And ultimately, what led them to, our store? And quite frankly, them, the salesperson. And only when you find out that and what they like best about the experience, do you transition to going, you know what, I love your story. Would you mind sharing that with a testimonial? Because again, people are more likely to share their story versus giving you a testimonial, because we feel like if you just come out outright and ask them for a testimonial right after they've said yes and they've agreed to purchase, it's a little self-serving to the store versus them sharing their story. When they share their story, it's more about them.
No, I love that because you kind of give them a warm up or like a dress rehearsal.
Yes.
You say you kind of walk them through why they like doing business with you, and then you ask them after they're already feeling all warm and fuzzy.
Right.
Then you ask them like, hey, that's a great story. Would you mind sharing it? So I can share with other customers. That's great.
And then the next part is make it fun. Celebrate the moment. Oftentimes we forget as car salespeople, we're around the cars all day long, day after day, week after week. We forget how exciting it is to be getting into that new car. So celebrate the moment, make it special and memorable for the customer.
I wish we would have had cell phones back when I sold cars, because I think about the lady that I sold my first car to that got to cut my tie. She gave me this awesome review that went into my evidence folder that was on my desk. Right, we didn't have any of that, but I would kill for the opportunity to watch a video of that whole process, because that was a long time ago and it was a good time.
Right, and today's evidence folder can be a digital picture frame showing off your testimonials.
Oh wow. That's a good idea.
Because I love the old evidence folder. I had one when I sold cars.
Did you get your tie snipped by
your
your first car?
Absolutely.
I don't think they do that anymore.
It's still that tradition still holds. I was just at a dealership a few weeks ago, and they had a new salesperson, and they cut his tie.
They snipped his tie.
They always have some old ties, so they don't cut the guy's brand new tie. But
I got to swap my tie out too.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I've heard you talk about the 3 types of feedback. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Certainly. We believe there's 3 feedbacks that are critical to a dealership's success. The first being internal feedback. And that type of feedback is essential to really improving the customer experience that your store delivers on a regular basis. That's where the greatest opportunity lies. And quite frankly, it also can protect your online reputation. We employ something called Sensei Guard that will protect all negative feedback, or 90% of negative feedback from hitting Google. We feel like that's important. The second type of feedback is external feedback, and that's external reviews such as Google, Facebook, Yelp. Those are still critical for validating trust online. When people are searching for you, comparing you to your competitors, it's important to have lots of reviews in different places with higher ratings. And then the last type of feedback is what we call the golden testimonial, and that's the video testimonials. Again, they can be more challenging to get, but with training and the proper technology and the effort, they can be gotten.
I do want to talk more about video testimonials, but let's go back to the internal testimonial or the internal feedback first. You mentioned that you're able to prevent 90% of the negative reviews. Talk to me a little bit about how does that work?
When we send out review requests to customers that have just visited the store, we ask them to rate this experience on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 through 4, we will have a form for them to fill out and get that, garner that feedback away from Google. We still have the Google link because we need to have that if they want to go to Google, but we give them the opportunity to communicate directly with the dealership. And that gives the management team at the store the ability to address that customer's concerns, but not do it on the first page of Google.
It gives you a chance to fix the problem.
Yes, to really address the customer's concerns, communicate with them in a timely fashion. That's also very important. And then to hopefully make them happy and bring them back, because the entire idea of that internal feedback is to increase your customer retention. All
right, well, let's shift gears from the unhappy feedback to the happy feedback. The golden video testimonial. So let's just assume I'm a dealer. I've got all these beautiful video testimonials. What should I be doing with them?
Well, we believe that if you can get video testimonials with your team, and again, it takes effort, it takes training, and sometimes the right technology. But once you get these, we believe that you should be using them to communicate trust in the local market. It really sets you apart because a lot of dealers don't have them. So when you have them, you want to put them everywhere, quite frankly, online. You want to put them, first and foremost, you want to get them into the customer's news feed, their social feeds, because when you get them there, that's where the referrals come from. Mm-hmm. You want the salesperson to share them on their social media to brand themselves in the local marketplace as a trusted source for automotive shopping. And then thirdly, the dealership's social media channels, the website to create more validation and trust, the Google listing, you can now upload video testimonials as a Google post, even YouTube, meta tag them for local search, so they're popping up in local search results, and retargeting ads. Every dealer on the planet retargets with inventory, But how many dealerships do you know retargeting with customer testimonials?
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. You know, you in a former conversation, you actually brought up the idea of, you know, taking a customer who had bought an F-150 and talked about their great F-150 experience and putting that in front of people that were shopping for F-150s. Like, wow, that's a great idea. Like, oh, you know, Chris was so knowledgeable. He knew about the towing and he knew about this and he knew about that. Like, that's powerful.
Yeah, targeted.
Yeah. I mean, because think about it, how often when you go to buy a car anymore, you know, especially a truck or something, the salespeople often don't know everything about the vehicle. So that's some value to say, hey, you know, at our dealership, we've got Chris. He knows everything about the F-150.
Right. Utilizing the voice of the customer is, we feel, the most trusted voice. You know, every dealership goes up to the top of the rooftop and shouts, we're the best, come buy from us. But what consumers tend to trust more is what your current customers are saying.
Well, you know, we've talked about a lot of things here that you know, they all sound easy, but together it's a little complex. So I want to bring this back to your company a little bit. Talk to me about your mobile app and how is it that you're able to make this miracle happen?
So we developed, at Reputation Sensei, we developed a mobile app that really empowers the salespeople to capture either a video testimonial or a photo endorsement at the time of sale. And you know, we want to make it easy for that customer to leave a review, a testimonial, or a review. Like we always say, start with video. If they won't do a video, back down to a photo. If they won't do a photo endorsement, you back down to a written review. So there's 3 asks on every single sale. That's the process that we train. Mm-hmm. And you know, the easiest way we feel like to get testimonials is you got to open your mouth. Closed mouths don't get fed. So you got to open your mouth and just, you know, but it's again the way you ask. Get them to share their story. Make sure that they're happy with the process. Celebrate the moment. You know, one dealership that we are currently servicing, the salesman goes out and he captures the moment the person gets in the car. As soon as they open the door and they sit down, he's filming them and he starts asking them questions. There's a huge smile on their face. They're happy. And then they shut the door, they roll the window down, he asks a few more questions, and he films them driving away. This particular salesperson has over 170,000 followers on TikTok. And guess what? Testimonial videos. So wow. People love to watch these type of content.
I mean, that's a heck of a testimonial video. I mean, getting in the car, rolling down the window, driving away. I mean, is that guy kind of an outlier? I mean, is he just fantastic? I mean, are there other people that are doing neat things like that?
2 years ago, he was driving forklifts, and now he's selling cars. And he's going to make a ton of money this year because he's putting himself out there. You know, the biggest challenge that we have is salespeople's reluctance to go on camera because it's scary. And I always tell salespeople the video testimonial you do today won't be as good as the one you do tomorrow. The one you do tomorrow won't be as good as the one you do 30 days from now. The only way you get better is reps. The other thing our testimonial app does is makes it super simple to get it into the customer's social feed. We send them a link and the customer can open it up and share that branded post with the dealership branding to their social feed. So now we're getting inside their social feed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very powerful.
I was going to ask you about that because I wasn't sure. So that these video testimonials, they're being shot on the salesman's phone.
That's right.
But then you're able to share them with the customer through a simple link. And then
instantly, yes. Yeah, they get a text message instantly. So we want that customer to share it on their social network. We want the salesperson to brand themselves. The best salespeople in the game today are marketing themselves on their social media. They're not relying on the dealer's ups. Mm-hmm. They're creating their own opportunities. And the easiest way to do that, social media offers an incredible opportunity for that. But the one thing it does take is just effort on a regular basis of putting yourself out there. You know, I tell salespeople, get over the fear. You put yourself out there, you can brand yourself as a trusted source in your local area for local shoppers.
Well, now, like, what are the benchmarks? I mean, like, if a dealership that's doing a very good job, I mean, let's just say they sell 100 cars a month. How many video testimonials, picture testimonials, and written testimonials, like what would be a goal for a 100 car a month store?
It's a great question. So for a lot selling 100 cars a month, we're looking at 35 to 50 30 to 40 video testimonials, 20 to 45 photo endorsements, and then at least probably 300 written reviews. Now, those written reviews will also come from service.
Mm. Gotcha.
So those are some benchmarks.
I mean, those numbers are bigger than what I was thinking. I mean, I guess maybe the fact that everybody has a camera in their pocket now, and everybody's, you know, we're a lot more used to being on camera now. You know, where it used to be, you'd get a picture of yourself at the school. Your school took a picture once a year, and you got one at Christmas, right?
Right.
now we're all doing it all day.
Right.
That's really impressive. So you said almost like 40 video testimonials out of 100 cars.
We've got stores doing it, and it's pretty amazing. And I always thought that the younger generation was going to be the biggest adopters, but I've got some older guys that are taking that camera out, forcing themselves to do it, and they're getting better and better every single day by doing those testimonials on a regular basis.
Wow. Now, we really didn't talk much about service, so I do want to loop that in because you brought it up. Are they capturing video testimonials in service?
So for service, we usually reserve service for written reviews just because service advisors do not have the time.
Yeah.
I mean, they're limited on time and the interaction with the client. Salespeople have more time to actually conduct those.
I was gonna say, yeah, 'cause I mean, nobody's really excited like, wow, that was the best tire rotation I ever got, right?
Now,
it doesn't have the same level of enthusiasm or emotion, right?
Right. Now, I will tell you that we've been successful in training a person at the store if they're in a service BDC, and if they're used to getting content for the store, we can train them go into a service area, a service waiting area, and interview customers. And the way that happens is you just go in and start talking to customers, asking them questions. Hey, how's everything going today? Is the first question. Make sure they're happy. And oh, by the way, how long have you been servicing your car here? Did you purchase your car here? Was it a good experience? You can get customer stories out of the service waiting areas. And again, once you've affirmed that they're happy and they had a great experience, then we would transition. I love your story. Would you mind sharing that on video?
The one you just shared would be a great story. Did you buy I bought my car here 10 years ago or 8 years ago, and I've been servicing it ever since. They keep it on, that would be a great story for a testimonial. I hadn't thought of that idea.
Yeah, I mean, we've done that exact technique and found people that have bought 5 cars from the dealership, and they've serviced their car there for 15 plus years. And so those are great stories to capture.
Well, Chris, is there anything more you'd like to share with our audience today before we go?
Sure. If people want more information, they can reach us at reputationsensei.com, and we love helping dealers expand their footprint online using customer stories with video.
I really appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you, Brian.
And thank you for taking the time to join us for this AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today our guest has been Chris Snellgrove from Reputation Sensei. We hope to see you again on a future episode. This one's Over the Curb and Burning Gas.